Check, 1-2, radio check, still. On the bound through the corner, lane up through the trial zone. Not sure why we did that, I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody to get to the bottom. I think we should just run all out and wait till after the fourth pit. Get out of the gas, slow down. Everybody split up right in front of me. Come on.
Here comes that number 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs your line. It's Kurt Sponsler will pick up stage win. Mr. Garland and Garland leading the way, showing these drivers how to get it done.
Radio check, 1-2, radio check, still. On the bound through the corner, lane up.
Engines roar, louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast League, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens, captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends never out of sight. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land.
Woo! Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here from the beautiful Nashville Super Speedway. 150 laps on the docket here this evening with the Outcast Racing League, as each and every one of these drivers looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane as we get ready Duke it out here in this one, man. Going to be a very, very fun night of racing. Actually, going to be a lot of great battles out there on the speedways, mate. And Chris Muse in the chat with the trophy, cheering all these guys on, hoping for a good run there for that 3 machine, as Muse will start there in that 4th position. But starting on the pole, it's his Must Love Poodles teammate. It's a Must Love Poodles in a Humphrey front row here this evening. Grant Humphrey, Tyler Humphrey in the 48 in the 9 ride. The pair of Must Love Poodles machines will start on the pole position here this evening, and they'll start out in front. Back behind them in position number 3 will be the 71 of Jamison Heath, and to his outside, starting there in 4th, it is their teammate, the front row's teammate, the Must Love Poodles, number 3 of Chris Muse. Starting back in position number 5 in the 7 ride is the Chevrolet machine of Devin Black. To his outside in the number 19 is the JRC Race Cars, number 19 of CJ Jeffries. Starting back in position number 7 in the 10 ride, that is Michael Wolf. To his outside in the number 11 ride, that is Mark Belair. Starting back in position number 9 in the 25, that is Edward Belair, and to his outside will be the 2 car of Corey Crowell. Starting back in position number 11 in the number 12 ride is the Poor Boy Motorsports number 12 ride of Josh Bromfield. To his outside will be the 70 of Mike Killingback. Starting back in position number 13 in the number 22, it's Nicholas Barton in that Shaw Landscaping ride there in 13th. To his outside in the Mountain Dew number 69, it's Joshua Benton running at our top 14. Back in position number 15, that is the 81 of Anthony Garland. He'll have James Garland there to his outside with Evan Fuqua on his Must Love Poodles ride there in 17th. And bringing up the rear of the field in the Car Quest number 5, it is Brandon Puffin Barger bringing up the back of the pack as we and all of the anticipation with our feature presentation, as we are quickly green flag racing here this evening from Nashville Super Speedway. The 48 rider Grant Humphrey able to use that pole position to clear his twin brother Tyler Humphrey for this top spot, and he'll lead us down the back straightaway here nice and easy into corner number 3 for the first time here this evening. Down and out of corner number 4, it'll be the 48 ride back down across the line who will lead lap number 1 here in Music City. So Grant Humphrey out in front. Tyler Humphrey now sits solidly in second, but here comes Jamison Heath trying to reel him back in, trying to catch back up to the back bumper of the Must Love Poodles ride. Is right now Heath kind of sandwiched in between 3 of these Must Love Poodles machines, as 2 of them at the front of the field and 1 back there in position number 4. He'll be looking for more, hoping that he can try to work his way around Heath and try to join his teammates here up in the top 3 positions on the speedway. But right now, Must Love Poodles up inside 3, up inside of our top 4 on the racetrack. Back there in position number 5 is Mark Belair. Belair with a great start here, up 3 positions right at the get-go, and for that Hawaiian ride, he's up and into position number 5 here on the speedway. The King's Hawaiian machine sitting there in that 5th position right now. He is our hard charger, up 3 spots on the racetrack. Michael Wolf has gained a position, and he's worked his number 10 car up and into position number 6. Devin Black down 2 spots early on, sits there in 7th in the number 7 ride. Then we do see Edward Belair and CJ Jeffries, who's now fallen back 3 spots here at the start of this race. As Wayne Garland coming in, showing the love, says, "Go Vanguard Racing," number 70 of Killingbeck, and that 37 of James Garland out there on the racetrack. Anne Marie in the chat as well says, "Let's go number 37," says that she loves you too, says she loves Mr. Garland out there on the racetrack. Is James right now, the beautiful looking M&M's number 37 ride, the broken apart M&M's machine, in beautiful memory here of Kyle Busch, man. Rest in peace, Rowdy, and Rowdy forever, man. Forever, Rowdy. They're on board with this number 37 ride, holding KB near and dear to his heart here this evening. A beautiful tribute paint scheme here this afternoon for James Garland, as you see the M&M's, kind of broken apart there, ripped apart there on that race car, looking fresh as heck out there on the Speedway, and definitely for a great cause and for great memory of the legend Kyle Busch, and the legend and the legacy that he left for all of us in any type of motorsports, whether it was dirt track racing, NASCAR, or anything else, man. Just a true ambassador for racing action everywhere was Kyle Busch, and he'll be truly missed. But we do see a change at the front of the field. Jamison Heath has worked his way not only around Tyler Humphrey, but he's navigated his way around Grant Humphrey. And Heath now finds himself at the front of the pack. So Jamison Heath out in front. He leads the charge now here on the Speedway, and for that Mountain Dew number 71 ride, he'll look to try to hang on to and hope that he can keep on pulling farther and farther away from those Must Love Poodles rides. Mark Belair has also navigated his way around Chris Muse, so Muse falls back into that 5th position, and Mark Belair jumps up into position number 4. So for that Kings Hawaiian Toyota, good run here for him. Obviously early on, up 4 positions for this 11 car. He's been making some pretty solid moves out there, and he's reeling in both the Humphreys out there on the racetrack, but you got to start to wonder, is this all a part of the plan when it comes to the Must Love Poodles crew? Are they taking a little bit easier right now, knowing that tires could definitely be a factor, as the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey allows the 11 ride to get on by him. The 11, though, pushes a little too far down into corner number 1, washes up the racetrack, opens up the inside lane again for that 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey, but it looks like Humphrey just going to let him have that spot. Rolls in behind him down into corner number 3, and for the 11 of Mark Belair continues his march up towards the front of the pack. And you gotta wonder here, these guys are definitely way farther off the pace than what they were at the start of this race. Both of the Humphreys last time around ran 30.9s, or just into the 31-second bracket. Our race leader and a lot of the drivers that are around them are still running in the 30.6s here. So unless if they're, falling off that much, the tires are already burnt up in the first 8 laps of this race. It's pretty incredible to see that, they're running, 3/10 slower than majority of the drivers out there on the racetrack. Now, there is a few cats back there a little deeper in the field. I'm not sure if they're struggling, if they don't really have the handle of this racetrack, but we do see James Garland, Joshua Benton, Brandon Puffenbarger, running quite a bit more off the pace here. Definitely trying to save maybe a whole lot more out there on the Speedway. And for James Garland, unfortunately saving maybe a little too much, and also getting a little too much of the outside fence. It looks like he's gotten up into the outside fence there. Pretty solid contact to that right front side, and unfortunately looks like it's created some pretty good damage there on that James Garland M&M's number 37 machine. So he does see Brandon Puffenbarger, he sees Joshua Benton both get around him, and now there goes Nicholas Barton down to the inside and around that 37. And for James Garland, this contact, that damage could definitely affect this run. Not only trying to save tire, trying to save fuel maybe as well. This is going to slow him up, and this is going to make this car very, very ill handling, and he's going to have his hands full. You see that damage on the right front there, as he's definitely gotten up, pancaked that outside fence, and unfortunately has fallen back now into the 17th position. Our last place driver, Evan Fuqua, right there behind him in his Must Love Poodles number 75. Ryan starting to reel him in here, though. It looks like Fuqua definitely a little bit more content with sitting back, maybe trying to, just kind of chillax a little bit here at the rear of the field. And early on here, he's definitely been a lot more off the pace than the rest of these drivers. A lot of these guys have been definitely running a whole lot slower lap times than the number 75 machine. So I think for Evan Fuqua, he's just been trying to sit back, relax, and take it easy out there on the Speedway, trying to let this race come to him. As Big Pilo, what's good, Chris? Big Pilo in the chat showing the love, says, let's go, baby, let's go, Big Pilo, let's go, baby. Coming in showing the love here in this one. How are you, Chris? How you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're having yourself a very wonderful Sunday, as Mr. Pilo always coming in showing the love, showing the support here for the Outcast Racing League looking for Peacemaker Gaming and enjoying some great racing action here on dang near a daily basis, man. We always see Chris jumping up into the comment section, showing the love and enjoying the great racing out there on the Speedway. And for right now, there is still some great racing to be had, man. These guys putting together a good show for us here right at the get-go. Obviously, some great passes, some great strategy being played out, as you do see the 10 ride on Michael Wolf. He's able to work his way around Grant Humphrey, but does get a piece of that outside fence. Now, unfortunately, luckily enough, doesn't look like any major damage or contact there after scrubbing that outside wall. So, luckily enough for the 10 ride, it does not hurt him, as he's got the League of Legends car here this afternoon. The League of Legends number 10 machine out there on the Speedway, and looking to kind of be like one of those locked-in Legends players and trying to race his way up towards the front of the field and trying to get a good finish here this evening as Jameson Heath continues to lead the charge. Heath out in front with Mark Belair in position number 2. Tyler Humphreys back in third. And then we do see Michael Wolf and Grant Humphrey rounding out our top 5. CJ Jeffries has raced his way now up and into position number 6 here on the Speedway. Chris Muse falling back into 7th, now maybe back to 8th as Edward Belair tries to navigate the 25 ride around this 3 machine. Corey Crowell's right there ready to pounce as well, as you still see a few of these drivers. It seems like they're definitely trying to save a little tire here early on in this race, trying to sit back, let the race kind of come to them, not push too hard out there on the Speedway, where they could potentially start to fall farther and farther back and start to see that wear and tear on their tires and how it's affecting their ride here this evening. But for Muse, at least for now, he's able to hold off Edward Belair. But here comes that 2 of Corey Crowell. Crowell looking to make the move around that number 3 machine. Good run at a core number 4 though for the 3, and for Mr. Muse, he's able to hang on to that 7th spot on the Speedway. So Muse stays there in 7th. Crowell will have to try to mount another challenge, as we see CJ Jeffries now trying to work his way around the number 48 of Grant Humphrey. Humphreys both in, a little bit of battles here, as we do see Tyler Humphrey trying to chase down our race leaders here, obviously trying to maybe use a little bit of that tire that he saved, or maybe just holding on a little stronger than what we've seen out of Grant Humphrey or Chris Muse, if they've fallen back a little bit farther than this number 9 ride. And for Tyler Humphrey, rolling there in that 3rd position on the racetrack. I mean, it could be tires, it could be fuel. It'll be interesting to see kind of what the strategy call is here this evening, and what these guys are trying to do, what they're trying to play out here on the racetrack. I do know that we will have a stage break here. I do believe, well, let me take a quick look at it, as this is our first race of the playoffs as well. I forgot to mention that. This is our first playoff race here on the season. So lap number 35 is our first stage break. So lap 35, we will see the stage come to a close, and that means for each and every one of these drivers, you gotta kind of figure out, whether it's tires and you're looking to get some stage points, or if you're just trying to take it easy here, get a solid finish, get some solid stage points, and try to help yourself out here. Points have been hard for me to always find here. Not sure if I'm going to be able to find them. I'd try to find the website maybe. Maybe that could help me out. Maybe that will allow me to try to figure out what the points are at, but I don't know if the website is... Take a look here. See if we can pull this up. See if we can get points here for these drivers. Standings. I do believe this is from last season still. Last season point standings, guys. Last season's point standings here on the board. But nonetheless, I do believe that I think all of these drivers are in the playoffs. I don't believe anybody really has been eliminated. Maybe a couple drivers did not advance into this round of 16. So I think for pretty much everybody that's really out there on the racetrack, that they are a part of our playoffs here this year. And obviously each and every one of them hoping to get some good solid stage points here to start these playoffs off. So for Jameson Heath out in front, a big stage win could definitely help him out a ton. But we do see James Garland headed down pit side here. James Garland makes a pit stop, as you see that beautiful M&M's number 37 second ride hit pit road here, and I'm not sure if this is just for fuel or if he's trying to get some of that damage repaired. You still see that right front pretty busted up. Looks like maybe he's even gotten back into the outside fence here, and unfortunately for James Garland, looks like he's going to be parked down there for an extended period of time, and unfortunately now has lost 2 laps out there on the racetrack. So he's now 2 laps down. That is definitely not a spot you want to be. Park down pit road here as a playoff driver and seeing all these drivers roll around you and earn some big points here this afternoon as you struggle down pit road. As we do see Jamison Heath, though, out in front. Here comes James Garland back out of his pit stall, so he's rolling back down pit side. And luckily enough, he'll rejoin this race. Unfortunately, though, he does find himself about 3 laps down here. Now, he is in line for the lucky dog. He could get the free pass back on the lead lap, but unfortunately, the crew didn't even get this car completely repaired here. Still has quite a bit of right front damage, so you have to wait for that stage break to hopefully try to get that thing repaired, get fixed up, and back into good working condition. But for Jamison Heath, he's out in front. Only 9 laps left to go here in stage number 1. 9 more laps left to duke it out here in this one. In our first stage of the day, as we do see Tyler Humphries worked his way back around the King's Hawaiian number 11 of Mark Belair. Belair will fall back into that 3rd position. Bit of a gap back to the 10 ride of Michael Wolf. Wolf rolls there in 4th, and then we do see C.J. Jeffries back there in that 5th position. Chris Muse rolls in 6th with Corey Crowell and Grant Humphrey rounding out our top 8. Our Belair and Josh Bromfield inside our top 10. All looking for stage points here this evening in stage number 1. Devin Black, unfortunately, on the outside of stage points looking in. So isn't Mike Killingbeck. Joshua Benton's right there. Brandon Puffenbarger's a little farther back there on 14th. Nicholas Barton, Anthony Garland. That number 75, Evan Fuqua back in 17th. And unfortunately for James Garland, multiple laps down, scored back in that 18th spot on the racetrack. But out in front, looking for the stage win. It is the 71 ride as Heath. Oh, man, he's hoping that he can hold off this 9 ride. Humphrey is reeling him in. Humphrey has been running quite a bit better lap times consistently over this number 71 of Jamison Heath. And he got to wonder if maybe the amount of tires that he was able to save, kind of sitting back, relaxing there, allowing this race to kind of come to him, it may be working out into his favor here over the long run now, as obviously he's been able to hang with these guys. He's been able to reel them in. He's made the pass around Mark Belair, and here with only 6 laps left to go in this stage, he's right there looking to the inside of the 71. He'll shoot it in there deep, looking for a good run to the inside of the 71 as they'll be door-to-door down and out at corner number 4. And for Tyler Humphrey, back down across the line, he will lead lap number 30. So only 5 more laps left to go. 5 more laps left for these two to duke it out here for potentially our stage win, as Michael Wolf has worked his way up and into 3rd. Unfortunately, Mark Belair has fallen now into 4th. He's quickly got C.J. Jeffries reeling into his back bumper here, and it looks like for Jeffries, he's going to see the 11 just go up the racetrack, allow him to get on by, take that positions, and it looks like the 11 of Mark Belair may have really burnt up his tires and now is really struggling here to hold on to it late in this run. Chris Muse back there in 6th, Crowell in 7th, Edward Belair, Devin Black, Mike Killingbeck now rounded out our top 10 as Grant Humphrey unfortunately has fallen back into 11th here, and he's just outside of trying to earn any stage points here on the racetrack. There comes that 69 ride of Joshua Benton. Benton's going to make quick work of that 48. He'll jump up into 11th and hoping that he's got enough time to still try to snag a couple stage points here this evening. But it's all Tyler Humphrey. As Tyler out in front holds on to the race lead as he was able to take it away and now pull away from Jamison Heath. And now Heath running into some connection issues here, blinking quite a bit there on the racetrack the last lap. But luckily enough, looks like it's kind of got itself figured out. That 71 ride still in it to win it, and rolling there in position number 2, unfortunately falling farther and farther away from that number 9 ride, and unfortunately quickly running out of time as there's only 2 more laps left to go here in stage number 1. Michael Wolf with a great run rolling there in 3rd. Jeffries has worked his way into 4th. Chris Muse now in 5th, and Mark Belair has fallen back to 6th. And he's got to be really, really careful here because there is a lot of hungry drivers right here behind him that would love to gain this extra position, gain those extra stage points, and put themselves into a better position when it comes to our playoffs here this evening if they can jump around him, maybe steal a stage point from this number 11 ride. Mike Killingback right there on the back bumper of Corey Crowell. So Crowell not only having to try to go on offense, but also looking to try to play a little defense, but he gets a great run at a corner number 4. He'll use it to roll right in front of this 2 ride, and now down low. Oh, look out, contact. Killingback, the 11, tied together. They're both slow down on the apron. No caution flag. It stays clean and green. Stays clean and green. Both drivers will keep on rolling. Unfortunately here, both drivers will fall outside of our top 10. As that allowed Joshua Benton, Devin Black, Brandon Puffenbarger all able to work their way around him, but out in front and winning our first stage of the day was the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey. So the Must Love Poodles number 9 machine of Tyler Humphrey picks up our first stage win of the evening. Jameson Heath will come home in 2nd. Michael Wolf will round out our top 3 here in stage number 1. CJ Jeffries will come home in 4th with Corey Crowell rounding out our top 5. Chris Muse back in that 6th position with Edward Belair, Brandon Puffenbarger, Joshua Benton there in 9th, and Mike Killingback rounding out our top 10. So at least Killingback was able to hang on to maybe one more position, but we do see Joshua Benton, Mark Belair, Devin Black all heading pit side here a little early right now. I think these guys may have been potentially running out of fuel or may have even ran out of fuel. And I believe for Devin Black, he may have ran out of fuel on the racetrack or trying to hit pit road. Something happened here. So this is before the stage break. Looks like he knew he was low on fuel. Actually, it looks like the stage may have already been out. The 12 right was slow there. But he rolls down onto the apron, and instead of getting it pointed back in the right direction and getting it down pit side to his stall, he just tows it. And unfortunately, doing so will end up putting him down pit side here for an extended period of time, and more than likely will put him multiple laps down out there on the racetrack, as we do see our race leaders finally hit pit lane here this evening. Here comes Tyler Humphrey, Jameson Heath, CJ Jeffries, Corey Crowell, Chris Muse all hit pit road. Edward Belair, Brandon Puffenbarger, Mike Killingback, Joshua Bromfield, Nicholas Barton, and Grant Humphrey all hit pit road. So does Michael Wolf, who I believe has ran out of fuel. Looks like he'll get picked up by the 81 ride of Anthony Garland. Anthony going to push him here and get this 10 ride down pit side. And I believe for drivers that had already previously came down pit road there, they're going to probably have to go to the rear of the field here for this restart. So drivers like Joshua Benton, Evan Fuqua, even though they were down pit road, same with Mark Belair, they'll move to the front here for a second or two, but they will fall to the back of the pack. You're in this one as pit road was closed. Unfortunately, that will have them have to go to the rear of the longest line out there on the racetrack, but we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, get ready to go back to battle here this evening. And for the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey, he was able to win that stage. He's able to make a good pit stop, get down, get out, make sure he makes all the right calls, all the right moves, and you'll get ready for this restart. As you do see, Benton is quite a bit ahead of everybody here. I'm not sure if he realizes that he's technically the race leader right now, and what he's doing is actually lapping everybody else. So I think for the 69 ride, he needs to get checked up. He needs to stop on the racetrack here, because not only is this going to put him a lap ahead of everybody else here, but this is going to really mess things up here for the starting grid. Benton showing that, yeah, he just completed lap 39. Everyone else just completed lap 38. So he is technically our race leader where he's sitting and a lap ahead of the field right now. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out and where they kind of stack up with the number 76 or 75 right of Fuqua. I believe Fuqua is going to roll to the rear of the field here. So is Mark Belair. after making pit stops there a little too early now. Unfortunately for Devin Black, he does roll back out here after pitting back on lap 36. We saw his issues hitting pit road, but unfortunately for the 7 ride, he does come out of the pits and he finds himself 2 laps down. The 37 of James Garland also getting a wave around right there. So luckily enough for James, he is back into the battle and has this car fixed up, ready to go back to duking it out here in this one. Finds himself currently right now only 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, but could technically say 3 because Benton is technically still in front of the field here. I don't know how this has happened. I don't know how this is still going on, but the 69 ride is not our race leader. I don't know if iRacing will fix it, but I don't think it's an iRacing problem. We saw him go by the iRacing pace car and virtually leapfrogging the field here by a lap. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I'm sure they're trying to figure out, how to get this settled, how to get this dealt with here as we'll get them all stacked up door to door, ready to go back to green flag racing as the green flag will come out next. And we'll see these drivers go back to battle, man. Stage number 2. About to get underway, and for all these drivers, stage number 2 a little bit shorter in comparison with the caution flags here. Counting, we have already clicked off 5 laps since the initial caution flag came out for our stage break. So that means that things have kind of cycled through, and for these drivers, if they've been able to save enough fuel throughout these caution laps, then they should be good to go here to make it in a 1-lap stint. Now, it still has Joshua Benton as our race leader. There he is, finally stopped on the racetrack as they finally get that figured out. So I'm not sure they may. Yes, there's the lights on the official iRacing pace car. So they will extend this yellow by 1 lap, and that will allow the field to catch up to the 69 ride, and that will get the stage set here for this restart. As we do see the 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger, the 7 of Devin Black, both going to hit pit road here again. I think for both drivers, obviously for Devin, he's hoping that he can gain a little extra fuel, but also maybe try to get that extra little bit of an advantage, a little extra edge to try to earn a lucky dog. For Brandon Puffenbarger, he's hoping that this extra fuel will allow him to be a little bit more on the throttle than trying to save fuel out there on the racetrack, where he doesn't have to worry about that coming down to the stretch here and towards the end of this stage, where some of those drivers are definitely going to be rolling out of the throttle a lot more trying to save fuel. He may not have to worry about that, just getting this extra little top up, even if it's an extra gallon or 2, could definitely go a long way in trying to get him to the end of this one. As there we go, we do have things lined back up. There goes the 69 ride, able to get rolling again here on the racetrack, and that means we will get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing here this evening. Right now, there are 16 drivers on the lead lap. James Garland 2 laps down, and unfortunately for Devin Black, also 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. So they'll be battling for the lucky dog position, but out in front, they'll be battling for the race lead as the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey finally sees that pace car make the left-hand turn down pit side, and here we go back to green flag racing, completing lap number 41 as the green flag comes back out. So this will be potentially a 29-lap run to the green and white checker flag to finish off stage number 2 here this evening. So quickly for each and every one of these drivers, making this a 29-lap run instead of 35 laps like that first stage definitely brings into that possibility that fuel may not play as big of a factor, and that may really help you out in the long run, may really put you into a good position to try to jump up and maybe even try to steal a couple stage points here. Push a little harder, go a little faster, look to try to make some big moves out there on the racetrack and try to race your way up into a good position here to earn some good stage points here in stage number 2. And stage number 2 going to quickly come to a close with these drivers doing a great job putting together a heck of a run. We see a great door-to-door battle back here for position number 7 as Mike Killingback wants to hold on to it. The 19 of CJ Jeffries, though, not wanting to give it up. CJ up on the top shelf, Killingback down low. Killingback gets a little bit tight, pushes up the racetrack there through the center of the corner. The 19 ride, though, of CJ Jeffries did not get the best corner exit, and that will allow Killing Beck to stick right there with them as they continue to battle door to door for 7th and 8th out there on the racetrack. You do see Josh Bromfield, Nicholas Barton, Michael Wolf trying to reel them in as Evan Fuqua a little further back there in 12th. Mark Belair, Joshua Benton in 13th and 14th. Then we do see Brandon Puffenbarger in that beautiful CarQuest number 5 ride, rolling there in 15th. Anthony Garland's back in 16th. And then Devin Black currently sits in that lucky dog position, just a bit in front of James Garland. So unfortunately, Garland not in that free pass spot. He is not in the lucky dog position out there on the racetrack. It currently belongs to that lime green number 7 ride of Devin Black. Is Fletcher? What's good, Fletcher? Jack coming in, showing the love. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Jack. What's good, my boy? How are you? How you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Sunday. Is Mr. Fletcher tuning in, showing the love here in this one? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Sunday, man. A solid run, solid race, tough race, though, at Martinsville last night there for Mr. Fletcher and his Home Depot Rigid 14 ride. But, oh, hang on to it. Evan Fuqua. Oh, Fuqua's going to go for a slide sideways down through the infield here. Looks like he's going to get it rolling, but he is going to see the caution flag flying. So Fuqua runs into a problem. Caution flag does get displayed as we'll take a look. Is there contact here potentially between him and this 5 ride? Brandon Puffenbarger just looks like they come down out of corner number 4. Fuqua just loses the rear end. No contact there with the 5 car. So for Puffenbarger, avoids any contact or damage there. And luckily enough for Fuqua, no damage or contact either. But does honestly go for that slide out of 4. Goes for a bit of a drift there and doing a little landscaping down in the infield grass here at Nashville Super Speedway. And for that 75 ride, unfortunately, that's going to lose him a bit of track position, but that will keep him falling back here, and that will give a big restart for all these drivers have to deal with. And now another caution flag as well, where that really probably helps these guys out fuel-wise here, and being able to hit their marks and being able to run as hard as they need to here to make it on fuel in stage number 2. Now that will give Devin Black, luckily enough for Black, that will give him the free pass, the lucky dog, being in that lucky dog position. So that's a great break there for the 7 Chevrolet as he'll get a lap back here, be only 1 lap down, but with our stage break just around the corner, with James Garland already being 2 laps down, that means if we get another quick caution flag, it should put the 7 right at Devin Black right back on to the lead lap, as we do see Corey Crowell going to give up good track position to hit pit road here a second time himself. So does Brandon Puffenbarger in that number 5 ride. Anthony Garland also hits pit road there, kind of just following maybe a little bit of the strategy that Crowell and Puffenbarger are doing here this evening, and they'll stop down pit road, they'll get fuel, and they'll get any drink or so off that they need, and they'll get ready for another big restart, but now from back of the pack, and they'll have to try to make up a lot of ground here if they want to try to earn any stage points or set themselves up nicely here for stage number 3, our final stage of this race. But for right now, it is Tyler Humphrey who continues to lead the charge. The Must Love Poodles number 9 right out in front, with the Must Love Poodles number 3 of Chris Muse right there behind him. Heath, Belair, and Grant Humphrey rounding out our top 5 here on the Speedway as 3 of the Must Love Poodles machines out at the front of the field. Let's see if we can get a quick word in from our amazing sponsors over at Must Love Poodles.
Who are we? We are Must Love Poodles. Where poodles aren't just dogs, they're family. We are a very small in-home breeder of AKC miniature and small standard poodles, where our motto is quality over quantity. Where every litter is thoughtfully and intentionally bred, and we know that the best puppies come from great parents. And that's why we test every single parent dog for all genetic and orthopedic related issues. But we don't stop there. We also take our dogs to AKC events and make sure they get titles to prove that they have great temperaments. Every puppy is hand-raised in our home and well socialized. We also utilize puppy curriculum and early training methods, which make our puppies a snap to train. They're very eager and human-focused. Every puppy is also temperament tested, which helps us match the puppy to the right home. At Must Love Poodles, we can't promise you the perfect puppy, but we do promise that we will do our very best to prepare your puppy for its future. If you're looking to add a smart, sociable, and highly trainable dog, and you want a breeder that will be there for you before, during, and after, come on over to www.mustlovepoodles.com or follow us on our Facebook page. We'll see you there.
Alrighty, shout out there to our sponsors over at Must Love Poodles, as the Must Love Poodles cars on the front row get a good launch, good restart right there. And for Tyler Humphrey, we'll hang on to the race lead down into corner number 1 as we are 1/3 of the way through this feature event here this evening. 1/3 of the way already through this one. And for each and every one of these drivers, still a lot of laps, a lot of battling left to be had here today. And you see Jameson Heath right there ready to give it to him, try to work his way to the point here, wanting to try to jump out, try to lead some more laps out there on the Speedway, as Jameson is able to jump into position number 2. Chris Muse falls back into 3rd, as there's Grant Humphrey up into that 4th position. A good restart there for the 48 ride, as he's able to navigate his way around Edward Bel Air, but we do see the caution flag come back out. So yellow flag is displayed again. We'll take a look and see what happens. There it is. All right, there is the contact. Unfortunately here, looks like Joshua Benton just going to get in there a little bit too far, a little bit too hard here. Rolls in there, gets a big run, drives through that left rear of the number 22 of Nicholas Barton. Barton gets up into the outside fence, and that's what brings the caution flag out. Tough hit right there for Barton, as that's going to set him back a ton here in this one. And obviously going to have to try to get that thing repaired, try to get it fixed up and back into good condition. Obviously not going to be super thrilled about the contact, and obviously the hit that he took right there, as Joshua Benton got a piece of him there and took him for a bit of a ride down through corner number 1. But we'll quickly get these drivers stacked back up, ready to rock and roll, ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. Good news is for Devin Black, believe he is in the lucky dog position. So for Devin Black, should get back on the lead lap, should get back into the battle here this evening. So that's a great break there for that 7 ride, as a couple quick caution flags, and he'll quickly be able to get back on the lead lap and back into the battle here this evening. So just sticking with it, not giving up, and able to keep on battling. And for the 7 ride, it'll put him right into the mix here this evening, as you do see the 69 ride. He's going to own up to his mistake here. Looks like he's going to take an EOL and fall to the rear of the field here for this restart outside of our the drivers that came down pit side here. We'll have to wait and see if they still get to go in front of them here on this restart. We do see Barton, Puffenbarger, Anthony Garland all hit pit road right here. There's Garland, that beautiful Poor Boy Motorsports number 81 ride, the Outcast Racing League machine. Hoping to have himself a really, really solid run and a good day here this evening. Unfortunately, he's been kind of mired back a little deeper in the pack, but could be all a part of the strategy there for that 81 ride. But for right now, for the 89 ride, strategy is stay out in front, continue to lead laps, continue to just keep Heath and the rest of the field back there at bay, and potentially try to sweep our stages here this evening, as our stage 1 winner sits out in front of the field and hoping to try to pick up stage win number 2, knowing that there is a good amount of points on the line, and trying to get every point you can to try to help yourself, advance forward here and maybe advance into our round of 12 here in a couple weeks. As there's only this race, one more, and that is our elimination race. So next Sunday will be our first elimination race of our playoffs. Then we go for another 2-race stint, 2 more races to figure out who our championship 8 will be. And once we get that figured out, man, for each and every one of these drivers, top 8 drivers in the points, the Championship 8 will head to Daytona International Speedway for our full length 200 lap, 500 mile event there at Daytona to try and put themselves up and in to the winner's circle and potentially into a championship here this year. So for each and every one of these drivers, if you're a part of the playoffs, that is the big goal. That is the key here this evening, is just try to survive, work your way through it, put yourself into a good position through these stages, earn as many points as possible, and potentially put yourself in line to win this race. And if you can win this race, you can punch your ticket into that next round, make it so that next week's race is a little bit more just fun. Don't have to worry about points. You're already locked in, so you can kind of take it easy breezy, lemon squeezy when we head to Michigan International Speedway next Sunday. But here tonight, man, still a lot of laps left to go. Still a lot of crazy action here for each and every one of these drivers, as we do see the green flag come back out. This time our race control is going to give them a single file restart here. So single file restart, and that plays out pretty nicely there for Tyler Humphrey. He's able to get a great launch, good restart, and able to try to keep these drivers back there at bay, as he'll look to try to keep that 71 back there behind him here throughout the rest of this second stage here this evening. But Heath has shown he's got a lot of speed out of that 71, and if he can make the moves here, if he can jump up there, get a good run, maybe give Tyler Humphrey here a run for his money in stage number 2 here this evening, as Heath rolls there in second, Chris Muse back in third. There you do see Grant Humphrey and Edward Belair still rounding at our top 5. CJ Jeffries there in 6, with Mike Killingbeck back in 7. Josh Bromfield, Michael Wolf, and the number 2 rider, Corey Crowell, rounding out our top 10. So Crowell rolls there in 10th, as he does have Mark Belair, Evan Fuqua right behind him here as they're trying to chase him down. Fuqua a little farther back from those two, but we do see Puffenbarger right there with him, looking to the inside of that number 75 ride, trying to steal position number 12 away from Fuqua here this evening. And down low, looks like he's able to get a good run exiting corner number 2, but they'll still drag race down the back straightaway into corner 3 and 4. And for Puffenbarger, trying to work his way up one more spot, trying to salvage a pretty good day here, a solid day for that 5 ride. Unfortunately missed out on stage points there in stage number 1, but really looking to try to get some here in stage number 2. He may have to try to turn up the wick here and jump up there, go after those drivers in front of him. But for right now, Tyler Humphrey out in front of the field here. Tyler has looked really, really strong, really solid here this evening. And for that 9 ride, he'll just look to try to keep on hanging on here, as nice and easy back down across the line. He will complete lap number 59, so only 11 laps left to go here in stage number 2. 11 more laps left to duke it out here in our second stage of the day. Jameson Heath sits there in position number 2, and hanging with them here, they have kind of separated themselves from the rest of the field, as Chris Muse, Edward Belair, Grant Humphrey, they're all kind of sitting back a little bit out there on the racetrack, maybe not pushing as hard, maybe still trying to save a little bit of tire here for the closing laps of this second stage of the day. But for right now, Tyler Humphrey, Jameson Heath, they have about 1.8 seconds between themselves and our third place driver, Chris Muse. Muse back there in position number 3. You know, wonder what's the strategy call here for this 3 machine. He looked good, looks solid there in our first stage of the day. And for this 3 ride, looking to get another good solid stage here under his belt. Try to get some good stage points out there on the racetrack. And right now he'll try to hold off CJ Jeffries, as CJ has been able to work his way not only around Grant Humphrey, but also around Edward Belair. And CJ's worked his way up into position number 4 and looking for more, as Rodney Stewart says, "Did you say drag race?" Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. A little drag race action. Oh, okay. Yeah. They be drag racing, man. Every straightaway is a drag race when it comes to racing. That is for dang certain. The only spot that you're racing not in a straight line is through these corners. And let me tell you, man, if you want to have a good fast car on the straightaways, you need to get some great runs through these corners. And that's what makes this racing action just so exciting, so thrilling, and so technical for each and every one of these competitors out there on the racetrack, because one slip up, one bad corner can send you packing out there on the racetrack, and going from, a good solid position to all of a sudden finding yourself at the rear of the field and just trying to play catch-up out there on the racetrack. So you got to mind your P's and Q's, not get too much damage or any damage at all, and try to keep yourself right in the thick of it here this evening. As we did see Devin Black, he was able to stick with it, went 2 laps down after the miscue there at the end of stage number 1, ended up losing a couple of laps, but the 7 right has gotten a couple lucky dogs and now finds himself right back on the lead lap, right back into the battle, and has now navigated his way around Joshua Benton, around Evan Fuqua, Nicholas Barton, as well as Anthony Garland. As Anthony looks like he's gotten some pretty solid contact here. Looks like that right front tore up here. So another Garland getting up into the outside fence, and some really solid right side damage here for that poor boy Motorsports. Living fast, dying hard? Is that what that says? I don't know what that says. Living fast, dying hard, or dying something there on the hood of that car. But nonetheless, we do see Anthony hit pit road right here. Oh no, this is a heartbreaker for Anthony Garland as he hits pit lane. You see our race leader's already getting by him here, so he's already lost a lap, and he will fall 1 lap down. And if he does stay only 1 lap down, then that would be all right. He should get the wave around in the lucky dog when we go back to green flag racing for stage number 3 here this evening. And it's going to be a close call here. He may go 2 laps down. We'll have to wait and see. James Garland also 2 laps down. Would love to get back around Anthony to try to work his way still into that lucky dog position. But as Anthony Garland does lose a lap, James Garland will unfortunately no longer be in that free pass position. But here comes our race leaders. The 81 down the back straightaway will unfortunately see them get by him. So there goes Tyler Humphrey right on by that 81 ride. And for Anthony Garland, he will fall 2 laps down out there on the Speedway. So now 2 laps behind for the 81 ride and the 37 ride. Definitely not what the Garlands had in mind here this evening, but we'll see if they can battle back. Obviously, we saw a few quick caution flags. Got Devin Black right back into the action here. And with our second stage quickly about to come to a close, Anthony, if he can hold on to this 17th position, keep James Garland back there at bay, should be in line for the lucky dog. Should be able to get back on the lead lap and back into the battle here this evening. But we'll see if he can keep James Garland back there behind him, as there is still a bit of a gap here between the two. There's Anthony down across the line. James Garland a little farther back there, only about 3 seconds behind him, but closing in rapidly here, knowing that there is definitely a purpose here to battle with the 81 to try to jump up and steal that lucky dog away from him. But the must-love Poodles number 9 rider, Tyler Humphrey, man, he's just been absolutely lights out here throughout this race. He was able to kind of hang out inside the top 2, top 3 there for a little while. The start of this race fell back into about that 3rd, 4th position there for a bit as the 9 ride had to battle back there towards the end of stage number 1, and he was able to do it perfectly as he chased down our race leaders, took that race lead away from Jameson Heath, and was able to go on to win stage number 1. And now down through corner 3 and out of corner number 4, it will be the must-love Poodles number 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey. It will sweep our stages here at Nashville. So Humphrey, T-Hump here this afternoon. Tyler Humphrey is able to pick up our first stage win and our second stage win. A very good point stay there for that 9 ride, as Jameson Heath will come home in second there in this stage. CJ Jeffries, Chris Muse, Grant Humphrey running at the top 5 there, all earning some good stage points here in our second stage of the evening. Mark Bellaire's back in 6 with Josh Bromfield, Edward Belaire, Corey Crowell, and Michael Wolf rounding at the top 10 there, all earning some pretty solid stage points out there on the racetrack. As out in front, though, this 9 rider, Tyler Humphrey, he's been looking real good, real strong here this evening, as must-love Poodles in the chat with the brooms. Sweep them off their feet, Tyler. Sweep them off their feet, baby, as he's able to put himself up and into the top spot here for both stages, earning himself so far the most points out of anybody in our playoffs. As Tyler will look to try to hold on to this race lead, as drivers will get ready to hit pit road for majority of them their second stop of this race. For a few of them, they did make additional pit stops, getting extra fuel, getting, that extra little bit of an advantage there potentially throughout the second stage. But here in this one, for the most part, most of these drivers will make their first pit stop or second pit stop here on the day. So they do hit pit road and they will go to work. They will get some fuel. They'll get some tires. They'll get everything else that they desire. Now, we did see Joshua Benton stay out here. Benton stays out, does not come down pit side here. So that's a really interesting call because fuel's going to be really, really tight here for the 69 ride nonetheless. So we'll have to wait and see if that's going to help him or hurt him out there on the racetrack, as we do see all these drivers down pit road getting right sides, left sides, getting their cars fixed up, getting fuel, getting tires. Now it's a drag race down and off pit road, and it'll be a tight call here to see who wins that race. I believe it may have been the 71 of Jameson Heath, so Heath may be the first driver off pit road right here, and it looks like he will hold on to that position. Tyler Humphrey comes out in second. Killingback leapfrogs a few drivers, comes out in position number 3 with Chris Muse, Grant Humphrey, CJ Jeffries, Mark Belair, Edward Belair, and Michael Wolf now rounding out our top 10. So for our top 10, these drivers, man, they are ready to get back after it. They're ready to go back to work and try to duke it out again here this evening. We'll have to wait and see, what the strategy call is going to be. And obviously for the number 69 rider, Joshua Benton, staying out. He was last out pit side back on lap number 36. Even with some of those stage cautions and everything else here, you got to wonder really how much fuel he was able to save throughout the yellows, throughout the beginning of the stage. He may have 5-10 laps of fuel still in the tank here of the 69 ride, and I think he's just hoping that, he can run maybe 3 or 4 laps here before he's got to make a green flag pit stop, catch a quick caution flag, and allow him to maybe get the little bit of an upper hand. A little bit of an advantage here if there is a caution flag where everyone else would have a couple laps of tire wear. He could be kind of just above that without the tire wear and maybe trying to close in to where maybe you can hit a number for strategy-wise to save enough fuel and not have to make an additional pit stop later in this race. So we'll have to wait and see what the call is here for this 69 ride. But nice and easy. Down and through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. Now the big question mark will be, how will the tires hold up for the 69 ride? The restart could definitely play havoc here for him as he gets back up through the gears, gets rolling again out there on the racetrack. Could definitely run into some tire spin. That could cause a bit of a pile up, but down through the gears, through that restart zone. Got a pretty good launch right there. Pretty good jump, pretty good launch, and that was able to work himself right back out in front and back into, obviously, the race lead. But now we'll have to wait and see how long he can hang on to it. How much dirty air can he push onto the nose of the drivers back behind him as Tyler Humphrey jumps up into that second spot here, clears the 71. Now looking to the outside here of Joshua Benton for this race lead. But for Humphrey goes way up the racetrack. And for Jameson Heath, blinking there on the Speedway as well, disappeared for a little while. But for the 71, does get down to the inside, does wrap that corner 3-4 inside groove right along that yellow line, and he was able to complete the pass there on Tyler Humphrey. So for Tyler, he does fall back into third. He'll have a pair of his must-love Poodles teammates right there behind with Chris Muse and Grant Humphrey rounding out our top 5 here on the Speedway. CJ Jeffries, Mark Belair right there on his back bumper, and CJ with a great run to the inside will work his way up and into that 5th position. So for the 19 machine, now rolls in that 5th spot here on the Speedway, and unfortunately for Grant, Humphrey has fallen back into position number 6. But out in front, we do see a couple drivers making some moves here. It is the 71 of Jameson Heath who's able to work his way back out in front of the field. So Heath once again controls this race. Tyler Humphrey there in second. Chris Muse up into third. Joshua Benton unfortunately falling back into position number 4 out there on the Speedway. Now we do see CJ Jeffrey trying to work his way around this 69 ride, looking to his inside here, trying to jump up into that 4th spot here on the racetrack. But Benton able to get a great run down out of corner number 2. Will hold him off, but the big question mark will be here for the number 69 ride is how much farther can he go before he potentially has to make a green flag pit stop here. He's got to be banking on a quick caution flag here over the next, probably, 4 or 5 laps. He's going to be desperately looking for a yellow flag to get himself, obviously into a good position here and some of the better tires out there on the racetrack. But he's got to wait, and he's got to hope that he catches a yellow before having to make a green flag stop. And if that green flag pit stop does happen here, that's going to put him farther and farther back. Is now, look out, hang on to a couple drivers sideways. Oh, baby, no caution flag as of yet. One of those being the number 10 of Michael Wolf. No yellow flag. He gets rolling here at the rear of the field. We also saw Benton there sideways trying to hit pit road, and I think that's maybe what got the 10 right a little checked up right here. So you see the 69. Oh, the 48 also gets a piece of him right here. So I'm not sure if the 69 ride had given any warning. Drivers like Grant Humphrey or the number 10, but you're going to see him right here rolling through corner 3 and 4 and then just rolls out of the throttle because he's coming down pit road. And as he starts to roll out of the throttle, drivers behind him are getting onto the throttle, and he's still kind of right there in that bottom to middle groove. And Grant Humphrey gets a piece of him. The 10 ride gets checked up. The 25 ride, unfortunately, does not get completely checked up. Unfortunately, drives through the back end of that League of Legends number 10 machine. That gets him sideways on the racetrack, shoots him down onto the apron here. Luckily enough, does not come back onto the racing surface until the rest of the field is on by him. And unfortunately, that causes no caution flags out there on the racetrack. So heartbreaker there for him. And I do believe Anthony Garland had been disqualified. It looks like Anthony Garland has gotten a DQ, so I'm not sure if he potentially had maybe had contact with somebody, maybe sent something, or maybe potentially had a black flag that he did not serve. A penalty that he did not go down pit road for, and iRacing themselves may have disqualified him here this evening. So it seems like potentially for Anthony Garland that he may be currently done here this afternoon. Heartbreaker there for that 81 ride. Now for the 69 ride at Joshua Benton, having to make that green flag pit stop there and running into those issues, finds himself now back in 17th, and unfortunately he has fallen 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. So he's 2 laps down out there on the Speedway right now, and unfortunately trying to play catch up, trying to figure out how to get back into the battle. Actually, he may only be 1 lap down. Believe, yeah, he's only 1 lap down. Just completed lap number 82. Our race leaders are about to complete lap number 84, but they got to catch up to him and work their way around him. So he's only 1 lap down, but unfortunately, he is not in that free pass position. Getting the lucky dog throughout our stage break was this 37 ride of James Garland. James Garland now only 1 lap down, and he sits in that free pass spot out there on the Speedway. So if James Garland sees a caution flag fly, could get himself back on the lead lap here for Joshua Benton. He's got to have that goal of chasing this 37 ride down and hoping to try to work his way into the lucky dog spot prior to a yellow flag here on the racetrack, especially to try to help his run out here and try to help out his drive, as we do see Tyler Humphrey work his way back around Jamison Heath. He falls back into second and quickly now under fire from the 3 machine of Chris Muse as the Must Love Poodles rides trying to work their way back out in front. But we do see more issues here for Joshua Benton. Oh no, Benton, things going even worse here for him, as it looks like out of corner number 4, maybe just pushing a little too hard out here. Gonna lose the rear end right there. Shoots down in through the infield grass. Does a little landscaping job himself. Rolls back out onto the racing surface. Luckily enough, able to keep that thing pointed the right direction, but does lose a lot more time there. Not only to James Garland, but to our race leaders, who may be in line to try to put him 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. That's a tough competitor, a good driver that I'm sure they would love to try to get trapped 2 laps down here late in this race. But for Tyler Humphrey, Chris Muse, they run 1 and 2 out there on the Speedway. Jamison Heath sits there in position number 3 with CJ Jeffries back in 4th. Mark Belair back up inside our top 5 in that King's Hawaiian number 11 machine. Grant Humphreys there in 6th with Edward Belair, Devin Black, Josh Bromfield, and the number 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger. Rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. Evan Fuqua back in 11th with Nicholas Barton there in 12th. Mike Killing back in 13th. Corey Crowell back all the way in 14th. And then we do see Michael Wolf back here in that 15th position. Another driver who we saw get sideways down and out of corner number 4 there as Benton was hitting pit road. Now, luckily enough, no caution flag for us, but unfortunately for the 10 ride of Michael Wolf, that cost him a lot of track time here at a lot of track position as he now falls back to the 15th spot on the racetrack and is potentially going to be the next driver to lose a lap out there on the racetrack. And if you're Joshua Benton, or if you're, James Garland, you're really hoping that the caution flag comes out prior to potentially Michael Wolf losing a lap out there on the Speedway. If Wolf does lose a lap, that would move him into the lucky dog spot. That would take the lucky dog away from either Joshua Benton or James Garland out there on the Speedway. But out in front, Tyler Humphrey continues to lead the way and now starting to pull away here as back down across the line. They complete lap number 90. So 90 laps down, 60 laps left to go here in this one. 60 more laps of fun here at Nashville Super Speedway for all of the Outcast Racing League drivers as they all try to navigate their way up and into victory lane here this evening. But as the smoke settles and the dust stops flying, here at Nashville, only one driver, one lucky cat will park themselves up and into victory lane. And who that driver will be is still a mystery until we see these final 59 laps get completed here this evening, or potentially even more with NASCAR overtime out there on the Speedway. But for Tyler Humphrey, looking really, really strong, especially on the long run here out of this 9th ride. And if things stay clean and green, he could be sitting pretty here late in this race. So we'll see kind of how things play out for him and see if he's able to just capture it and kind of run a perfect race, trying to win not only this race, but has already won both of our stage breaks and has earned himself some really good solid stage points. But here in this feature event, obviously looking for the maximum amount of points as possible and get the win, getting his ticket punched into the next round of these playoffs, being able to head to the next race and not have to stress or worry about your performance or the points to work your way in to that round of 12 in 2 weeks' time. So for right now, things are looking really, really good for this 9 ride as they continue to click laps off, that time by the completed lap number 93. So they're about 20 laps in here on this green flag run. So they have really put down some really good laps here. Really putting together a good race, a good solid effort out there on the Speedway. And for each and every one of these drivers, obviously, I mean, having this good run means green flag pit stops could be on the horizon. And we've seen already kind of some of the issues that drivers have had trying to hit pit road here at Nashville and trying to do it under green flag conditions. Definitely could put a few drivers into a really, really tough spot here later in this race as they could earn black flags, they could earn penalties out there on the Speedway, and that could set them even farther back here in this race. And that's going to be tough, man. That's going to be tough for a lot of these drivers. But I think for right now, everyone's probably kind of playing somewhere around the same strategy. They may try to stretch this fuel out as long as they can. They may not. Some drivers may just elect to go, go, go. Use the tires. Use the fuel up. Don't worry about it because you may end up having to make 2 trips down pit side here in this stage no matter what. But if you can get enough fuel and you can run smart, potentially with the yellow flags and everything else, it could be possible that maybe, we could see somebody try to stretch the fuel out here on only one more stop in this race, and they would have to try to hit a good number here. It's going to be really, really hard to do. I mean, since we went back to green flag racing, it has been virtually, I want to say, go back green flag battle in here, lap number 75. we went back green flag racing, so they have ran 21 laps. If they get 9 more laps in to lap 30, or if they can even go to lap 35, I mean, that would give them about 14 more laps, which would put them right around lap 110. I mean, that's kind of a decent number, but we saw how drivers were running out of fuel and how much they had to save there throughout that first stage of the day, and now finding themselves back here a little deeper and finding themselves obviously in this predicament where they may potentially still be 5 to 10 laps shy on fuel here, even with just one more stop in this race. So I think it's going to be really, really tough to do, but it'll be interesting to see how many drivers are willing to kind of gamble it, willing to risk it here, try to get to that 110 lap marker or beyond to try to make their final pit stops of the day, or if we'll start to see more and more pit stops start to roll in here this evening, because that is definitely going to be a big possibility here in this one. Definitely could be a very, very big possibility out there on the racetrack. But for each and every one of these competitors, they're hoping that they can find their way up to this 9 ride, try to battle for this race lead. And if you got to win it through fuel strategy or tire strategy out there on the racetrack, then you got to do what you got to do. And I feel there's going to be a lot of drivers that are going to try to get this one done, try to figure this one out, and try to get the win, kind of through a little bit of this fuel strategy here. So we'll have to wait and see if that is the case. That could definitely be the case here this evening. Could be a lot of drivers that just try to, get in here, hit their points, make their marks, and obviously try to earn as many, points as they can here this evening without trying to take any huge risk, huge gambles out there on the racetrack. And there's other drivers that may already have points, like Tyler Humphrey or Chris Muse, Jamison Heath, maybe even Grant Humphrey. Some of these guys that have been up inside our top 5 for a lot of this race have earned some pretty solid stage points. Maybe it's worth the gamble to run a lot longer and try to set themselves up, or for others to play it a little safer, plan on 2 stops nonetheless. Maybe come down a little earlier, split this kind of stage up a little bit here. Hit pit road now somewhere around lap 103, lap 105. Hit pit road again somewhere around lap 125, lap 130. Give yourself, kind of 20 laps, 25 laps for each of those runs, and kind of have, decent tires for both of those stints. So we'll have to wait and see if that's kind of the call or the strategy here for a few of these drivers. We see the 69 ride of Joshua Benton running into more issues. Looks like he's gotten up into the outside fence. Heavy damage here for the 69 ride. He was trying to keep himself on the lead lap here, or not on the lead lap, but trying to keep himself in front of our race leaders and back down out of corner number 4 again. We've seen him do this a few times here this evening. You can already see his tire tracks right there through the grass as he's went for a couple of these slides, and unfortunately goes for the slide, tries to correct it, tries to save it without having to go down through the infield again here on the racetrack. Unfortunately, as the car straightens back out, he's got the wheel turned to the right. It snap hooks up the racetrack and makes hard contact there with that outside fence. And you can see the damage there, that right front fender falling off the race car, and obviously huge right front damage there for Joshua Benton. And it looks like for Benton, he's going to have to take this thing down pit side. That will cost him another lap or 2 here. And unfortunately, he's just trying to get into his pit stall correctly. Looks like he went a little too far. I'm not sure if the crew's going to be able to go to work there or not. He may just have to pull this thing down pit side and obviously down behind the wall here to get this thing fixed up and repaired. He's got to throw it in reverse. He's got to try to find his pit stall so the crew can go to work. There it is. He's in there. There is the quick repair. The car is fixed back up, but unfortunately, as that kind of happens, he is now currently scored 4 laps down out there on the racetrack. Even if he gets a lap back throughout our, pit cycle here, still going to be about 3 laps down and nowhere near the free pass position. So a heartbreaker there for Joshua Benton, looking to come in, have a good solid day here, get some good points, and obviously just did not play out in his favor. Obviously has not played out very well for Anthony Garland, who's been disqualified from the race, scored back in 18th. James Garland, who's back in 16th, obviously not the run that he was hoping for here today either, but he's still in line as of right now. I believe he's still only 1 lap down. Would really need a caution flag right now to get the free pass to get back on the lead lap, but for James Garland, he may be potentially about to lose another lap as our race leaders are right here behind him. Here comes Tyler Humphrey. They will work their way around him. He'll hit pit road right now, so he'll take that opportunity to hit pit lane, and so does it Grant Humphrey. Grant Humphrey also hits pit road here on lap 107 for this number 48 ride. So one of our first front runners to hit pit road here to make this stop. Now we do see Michael Wolf and Evan Fuqua both hit pit road there as well. Fuqua definitely a little bit more bent out of shape to hit pit lane right there. Luckily enough, no caution flag. Keeps it pointing the right direction. They will make their stop here this evening. And now here we go. Here comes the rest of the Must Love Poodles team. Here comes Tyler Humphrey, Chris Muse, CJ Jeffries is hitting pit road. So is it Mark Belair. Josh Bromfield, Devin Black hits pit road. So all these drivers, I mean, coming down pit sign now. I mean, they went back green flag racing around lap 75. I mean, they were really able to run, what is that, 24, about 33 laps. So this is still going to be shy of our checkered flag at lap 150. So most of these drivers are going to have to make an additional green flag stop here this evening, or a stop during the yellow flag if things line up nicely for them. But we do see Jameson Heath going to stretch it out a little farther as Edward Belair, Brandon Puffenbarger, they'll hit pit road this time by. Looks like Mike Killingbeck and Corey Crowell are going to try to stretch that fuel out even more here this evening. So they're the last 3 that have to hit pit road here this evening. Making the green flag stops, Tyler Humphrey still comes out of the pits with what will be potentially the race lead. Muse will be back in second. CJ Jeffries, Grant Humphrey, Devin Black, maybe our top 5 here as things cycle back through. We'll have to wait and see where everyone kind of gets lined up here as the pit cycle starting to come to a close, as we do see Jameson Heath hit pit road, but Killingbeck and Crowell are both going to stay out. So this is lap 110. I mean, if they can make it 3-4 more laps, maybe 5 more laps, they should be good on fuel. They should be able to make it to the end of this race without having to make an additional pit stop. But I think for Killingbeck and Crowell, I'm not sure if they're even going to have enough fuel to get there. And there you go. You do see Killingbeck. He unfortunately, saved enough to make it there. Maybe that one additional lap, but it has to hit pit road. Crowell will consume the race lead. He will now be our new race leader. He'll hit pit lane here in just a little bit. We'll have to wait and see when he officially decides to hit pit road here. Slow down at a corner number 2 for the number 2 car, and looks like maybe he may be hitting pit lane right here as well. Looks like this thing is about ready to run out of fuel here. I think he's just trying to limp it back down pit side, and here he comes. He'll hit that apron. He'll make this green flag pit stop, and for Corey Crowell, the last driver to make this green flag stop, hits pit road. Unfortunately, only completing lap 112 here, so really only running about, maybe 35 laps. And one where they back green flag racing around lap 130, or they're around lap 75. I mean, that's 25, 35, 37 laps. Man, it's going to be really, really close here for Corey Crowell. Really, really close. If that was a 37-lap green flag run right there, he needs to virtually go a little bit farther here and make it 38 laps. I mean, without the caution laps in there as well, I mean, it may be possible that Crowell may be able to make it here to the end. If he can go 37, 38 laps here on this next stint, he may be able to work himself out in front and potentially winning this race if everyone else does have to make an additional green flag stop. As you see Tyler Humphrey, Jameson Heath, they're battling here at the front of the field for the race lead. Muse back in position number 3. CJ Jeffries there in 4th. Grant Humphrey there in 5th. And now for Tyler Humphrey, he does have 2 lap older tires. He was down pit side 2 laps laps prior to Jamison Heath. So Heath does have the slight edge on the tires here throughout this one. So we'll have to wait and see, what the strategy call may be here for Jamison Heath. Does he try to stick right there with that 9 ride? Does he try to complete the pass now, or does he kind of get settled in, allow this race to kind of come to him a little bit and try to go after the 9 ride later in this tire run? But at the same time, when do drivers decide to come down pit road again? When do these guys want to hit pit lane? Obviously, if you hit pit road, more than likely you're going to lose a lap out there on the racetrack, and falling a lap down out there on the speedway could put you into a really bad position. If there is a caution flag, could trap yourself a lap down here late in this race. But if you're Tyler Humphrey or some of these front runners, or maybe even a driver back there a little deeper in the field, when we look back at drivers like Devin Black, Edward Belair, Josh Bromfield, Brandon Puffenbarger, maybe not necessarily the speed that they need to battle for the race win here this evening, but maybe the strategy can play to your favor. If you make an earlier pit stop, it's less fuel that you need, and potentially having that extra bit of laps with the fresher tires may be a huge to your benefit as well. So I think for a lot of these cats, maybe the game plan may be kind of run another, 4 or 5 laps, maybe even another 10, 15 laps here. But I think for some, you come down, a good amount of laps prior to our race leaders. Give yourself that advantage. Give yourself that 5 laps, 10 laps of fresh tires before the leaders hit pit road, and that could leapfrog you out in front of them, or at least right there with them, to where it could put you into the winning position late in this race. But you come down too early, you run that risk of an untimely caution flag and trapping you multiple laps down out there on the speedway. Tyler Humphrey continues to lead the charge here. Tyler out in front has got this top spot and hoping to use it to his advantage to just try to stay out front here for the rest of this race, and hoping to try to put himself up and into victory lane. But we should see more green flag pit stops here just on the horizon as we'll jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume, cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening as we'll jump into our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. Alrighty, a beautiful crank it up session here from Nashville Super Speedway as the 9 rider Tyler Humphrey continues to lead the charge here this evening. The 9 car out in front, showing these drivers how to get it done here in this one as he continues to roll out in front and continues to reel in a lot of other drivers, putting them a lap down out there on the racetrack. Nicholas Barton now has lost a lap in that 22 ride. Corey Crowell not too far away from potentially losing a lap here himself, but for Tyler Humphrey out in front, continue to lead the charge here with only about 16 laps left to go. It'll be 15 this next time by the start-finish line. The big question mark will be, how will tires look? Where will everyone be with tire wear? As we do see Devin Black running into issues. He hits pit road, but man, that was very, very close. I don't know if he was trying to hit pit road or if he just got down on the apron, goes for a slide, though luckily enough, that does not bring the caution flag out. It stays clean and green. He does hit pit road and gets some service done to that 7 ride, I believe. I think for a lot of these drivers, they're still going to have to make a green flag pit stop here late in this race. I don't think anyone can make it to the end here. The only one that I think may be able to stretch the field out, that may be able to make it to the end of this race, is that 2 rider, Corey Crowell, but it's not going to matter as the caution flag will come out anyways. Yellow flag is displayed. Oh, baby, this is going to make things very, very interesting now as we'll take a look at it. James Garland and Joshua Benton, who's already both drivers multiple laps down here. Benton does get into the outside fence and then just kind of sends it into corner number 1 right here. Man, that was running fine together prior to this. 69 right here. Yeah, they're just running back here. Deeper in the field, obviously, for both drivers, multiple laps down. And I don't know about the 69 ride right here. This is definitely a bit of an oddball move, but right here, big run. Gets up into the outside fence and then just drives through the back bumper of the 37 ride. Both drivers end up into the outside fence. Both drivers stop their cars, but I mean, I don't understand what the call was on that. Right there. I mean, just drives in there way too far. Does not get onto the binders here. Let's see if we can jump on board here with Benton. See the contact is obviously frustrating race for obviously the 69 ride and for the 37 ride. But I don't know if there was contact prior to this or not. But him rolling out of the throttle, but never really rolls out of the throttle there, even after the initial contact and getting the 37 ride sideways here. So right here, he's kind of rolling out of it like he normally would. He downshifts right there, but he's still very much just coasting here through the 37, even just a little bit, still getting onto the throttle, a little bit into the corner entry right here. Just rolling out of it, just downshifted. That's why he was rolling out of the throttle, but right there gets back onto the throttle a little bit after the shift, but doesn't really give the 37 right a chance right there, and for both drivers, they end up hard contact into the outside fence, and unfortunately that will bring a big caution flag out as that will bring everybody down pit road here. Tyler Humphrey will still be our race leader, but everyone's now good on fuel. Everyone's good to go. I believe the 7 rider Devin Black, he's looking for the wave around to get a lap back right here, so that could work into his favor. Get a lap back, get back into the action. Evan Fuqua, I do believe, is still going to be scored a lap down. Nicholas Barton got the lucky dog, the free pass back on the lead lap. So that's a great break there for Nicholas Barton to get himself back on the lead lap, back into the battle here this evening. Devin Black, unfortunately, did go 2 laps down there, making that green flag pit stop just back on lap number 34. So unfortunately for Devin, that's going to set him back quite a bit here as Joshua Benton took his car out of this race and done for the day. The 37 rider James Garland now tore up with heavy damage, finds himself down pit side here and probably done for the evening as well. So unfortunately there for Benton and Garland, both drivers look like they're done for the evening, but we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. Now it's anyone's race, man. Fuel's not going to play a factor. Tires aren't going to play a factor. It is going to be a 11-lap shootout here to our checkered flag this afternoon. So an 11-lap battle. Back to the start-finish line, back to potentially victory lane here this evening. Now that's binding potentially more contact, more cautions, and the potential of NASCAR overtime here this evening. But for Tyler Humphrey, does get a good launch, good restart right there, able to clear the 71 of Jamison Heath. Nice and easy down out of corner number 2. Heath gets really, really close there to that outside fence. That opens up the door here for Chris Muse to continue to battle down to his inside. And that's exactly what Tyler Humphrey wants to see. That's exactly what he needs to see. He wants to see his must-love Poodles teammates kind of not only get a good finish, but also maybe try to hold these guys up a little bit. Keep the pressure off his back bumper. Keith has shown a lot of speed here. Probably the second best car out there on the racetrack for majority of this race. But for the 71, unfortunately stuck in the outside lane there on that restart. He's going to at least cost him a position as Chris Muse was able to just hit his marks, make a couple good laps, and he ends up jumping into position number 2 here on the Speedway. You see Grant Humphrey back there as well in position number 4. Would love to try to jump up here and try to work his way up and onto the podium here to join his teammates for a little must-love Poodles 1-2-3 finish right now. That's being split up by Jamison Heath, and now Heath working again to the outside here with Chris Muse, trying to now get this outside lane figured out, trying to work his way around that 3 machine. But as they continue to battle side by side, it's allowed Tyler Humphrey just to lay down quick lap times. Last time around, he laid down the quickest lap, not only of his race, but of the entire race. No one has ran a quicker lap time than what Tyler Humphrey had just laid down, a 29.85 for a lap time. No one, only one other driver here this evening has broken the 30-second bracket here. Now we do see a couple drivers. Grant Humphrey has ran a 29.99, and for Brandon Puffenberger has ran a 29.97. But other than those two, Tyler Humphrey is the only one that's ran inside that 29-second bracket here this afternoon, and definitely the 29.8s here this evening. So he has picked up the pace, and he's looking to just try to continue to pull farther and farther away. As we do see Jamison Heath has worked his way around Chris Muse, so Heath back up into second. Muse falls back into position number 3 here, but the laps are closing down in a quick hurry. And for Tyler Humphrey, he's got about 0.8 of a second here in this one, as Pool Boy in the chat says, I love being someone's brakes. Yeah, that's unfortunate contact. Unfortunate hit right there, and definitely using the back bumper of that 37 right up. And sometimes 8 tires turns better than 4 tires, but that time just did not work, as he did see the 75 Evan Fuqua run into some issues. Luckily enough, he has gotten this car rolling. He's still down on the apron. No caution flag, though it stays clean and green. That's great news for him, but his teammates are coming up to him in a quick hurry, so he may want to move up out of the way and allow these guys just to continue to keep on battling here this evening. But for Tyler Humphrey, he sits out in front. He sits there in second, and seeing the 9 ride pull farther and farther away with only 5 laps left to go here in this one. Chris Muse rolls there in position number 3 here on the racetrack. Grant Humphreys there in 4th. CJ Jeffries rounding out our top 5 out there on the racetrack. And then we do see Bromfield, Michael Wolf, Mike Killingbeck, Edward Belair, and Brandon Puffenbarger rounding out our top 10. But for Tyler Humphrey, man, it's been all T-Hump all day long. Tyler Humphrey has been at the front of the field, has won both of our stages. Now looking to try to win this race. A very big point stay here for the 9 ride if he can cap this one off and park himself up and into the Nashville Super Speedway victory lane here this evening in the Outcast Racing League. As he'll be looking to try to, put himself into good position, obviously trying to work his way into the next round of our playoffs, and getting it done here this evening will help him punch that ticket on through to our Championship 12 coming up in 2 weeks time. But for right now, the 9 ride looking really good, clicking these laps off as quick as possible, still holding that 0.9 second of a gap here, about 0.9 of a second between himself and Jamison Heath. So Heath just has not been able to find anything, and with now only 2 laps left to go, he's gonna have to turn up the wick here. He's going to have to try to figure something out, try to reel down this number 9 ride, but I don't think he's going to even have enough time. You may be able to catch him, but to be able to make the pass around him is a whole different ball game here. And as they head down into corner number 3, nice and easy out of corner number 4, looking for that white flag is Tyler Humphrey. As the Must Love Poodles number 9 ride back down and across the line, we'll see the white flag be displayed. So the white flag is out. That means this is our final lap around here at Nashville Super Speedway here this evening. And for Tyler Humphrey, has about a second gap now as Jamison Heath back corner down through corner number 1 and 2. Unfortunately, that will back him up, and Chris Muse, Grant Humphrey right there ready to pounce if he makes a mistake. They'll be looking to try to work their way around this 71 ride, and they get a good run down through corner 3 and 4, but no one will get there because Tyler Humphrey will pick up the dub here this evening. Tyler Humphrey gets it done and will find his way up and in to victory lane here this evening. Jamison Heath gonna give him a congratulations bump right there, obviously showing the true sportsmanship there. Just good hard racing, a great battle, and duking it out here this evening. And Tyler Humphrey, just maybe the better car here this afternoon, and able to find his way up and into victory lane. Heath will come home in second, and it's Chris Muse who will round out our podium back in third. Grant Humphrey in fourth. CJ Jeffries rounding out our top 5. But for the 9 ride at Tyler Humphrey, the Must Love Poodles, Isabel's Impact number 9 machine will get ready to celebrate here on the front straightaway, picking up a big win here in our first playoff race of the season. And for the 9 ride, he gets to burn it down here in this one. Burn it down, Humphrey, as he goes for a slide down through the grass across that Cracker Barrel logo, and able to celebrate here at Nashville, man. Music City, it has been a blast. It's been a heck of a show here, and these guys put together an incredible race for us here in Music City, and this was definitely a great race, man. Great run, great performances, great drives by each and every one of these drivers, but nobody better than the 9 ride. Tyler from Humphrey here this evening as he picks up the win here in this one. As Must Love Poodle says, congratulations, Tyler. Another win. Great run, Grant, as well, says Must Love Poodles, as the 9 gets to burn it down here at Nashville. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner in the Must Love Poodles number 9 machine, Tyler Humphrey. As we'll get ready to pull Tyler and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here. Post-race interviews coming up next here as we'll get ready to pull Tyler and the rest of our top 3 up here into the booth. Hey, Tyler, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Tyler, man, what a run, what a race for you here this evening, man. Take us back through it. What's going through your mind as you're able to park this Isabel's Impact Must Love Poodles number 9 machine right back up and into victory lane here this evening in our first playoff race of the season?
Yeah, I mean, felt like we had a lot of speed today. Not much on the fire off, but as soon as we got 10 or 15 laps on the run, we were gone. It was a very nicely handling car all day. I'm starting to like these concrete tracks quite a bit. So, yeah, I mean, I wish I could say I had a really interesting day, but I don't think I really dropped back farther than third or fourth. So, yeah, I mean, overall, a really fun day. Glad to be able to come out here and show the field what I had. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely looked like it was a lot of fun. Obviously, really prepared and ready to roll here in this one. Obviously, the strategy out of the get-go there, that first stage was save, 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 and make sure that you're good to go there. 2 lap 35s. We saw a few drivers, running short on fuel there, either just as the, the green and white checkered flag was being thrown, or as, we were doing those 2 laps prior to pit road opening. A few drivers having to make quick pit stops there, but you were able to just play it smart there. Save fuel kind of right into the get-go. Sit back, allow a few of those drivers to get on by, and then late in that run, you're able to be on the throttle a little bit more, a little bit tougher than what, Jamison Heath was, and you're able to jump around him, steal that first stage win, and then you back it up with winning stage number 2, and you win the race. So, I mean, just a perfect points day for you, but kind of take us, through the race with how these, stages kind of got broken down and how you kind of had to tackle some of the pit strategy out there on the racetrack.
Yes, stage one was a very big fuel saving stint, and we all knew it. I feel like fired off to see what I had initially in stage one, but immediately knew that it wasn't really gonna yield any benefit if I couldn't make it to the end. So we started just running around in fifth gear, just trying to keep the RPMs down and kind of just putz around, feel out the track, feel out the drivers that we had today, and yeah, I mean, after we got done with stage one, I almost ran out of fuel under caution. That was very nerve-wracking. Racing gods were in my favor with that one because I was sputtering coming to the box, and I was like, "Ooh, this is not going to be good." But start of stage two, we had some technical difficulties with getting guys lined up, so we definitely didn't need to save any fuel after that. We rode around under caution, and that kind of gave that stage. That was everything I had right there, I feel like. And then stage three was just gone. I mean, at that point, I felt out the track and really liked the track and really happy with how the car was firing off. Just those low exits was really important. I felt like I would watch Jameson, and I think he'd run a little harder on exit, and I was just able to keep my car down pretty low, and that yielded so much benefit throughout the whole race, and I think is what really made the difference. Disappointed to see that final caution. My teammate Evan Fuquay was involved in that, and that cut my 4-second lead down to nothing, and I was like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work out, but we gave it a shot, and I guess it did because we're sitting right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Still worked out really nicely for you. You're able to hold off, Jameson Heath and a pair of your teammates with Muse and Grant Humphrey back there in position number 3 and 4. But they're in that final run. Obviously, we saw you guys kind of hit pit road roughly around lap 108, lap 110 there. If it stayed clean and green, were you guys good on fuel? I feel like you guys were shy on fuel there and probably having to make a late race pit stop there in this race.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, no, we were not going to make it. I was catching Corey Crowell, and he is a mastermind behind the wheel. And I radioed to my team and said, "Hey, I think Corey's got something. I think Corey's saving." And I said, "I need to get around him because at that point he would have been a lap down." So I was like, "Well, if I had to come back down for a splash of fuel, at least I would have Corey a whole lap down, and maybe it would work out." That final stage, my philosophy was just to run as hard as possible because saving 10 laps is a lot, and I just didn't want to take that risk, and I just felt more confident in the speed I had. So I think at the end of the day, I'm really glad that I did that. It definitely was going to be a stressful ending. Corey's, like I said, a mastermind at saving fuel, and I've lost him quite a few times due to that, but today just worked out in our favor.
It absolutely did, and he was definitely doing something there late in this race because we saw him come down pit road around lap 112 where he kind of just ran a 37-lap stint, so he'd have to make it a little bit farther there on that final run to be able to make it 38 laps, but he can definitely work his magic, and he could have probably made that work, but I don't know how much he would have had to give up to just kind of make it on fuel there in those closing laps, but it may have played out into his favor. Luckily enough for yourself, you did not have to worry or stress about that as caution flag comes out. Then you have to stress about a whole new world of hurt there as a late race restart and trying to hold these guys off late in this one. But your teammate's going to hold up Heath enough and able to burn himself up a little bit there that he never really got a good run or a good effort there to try to battle with you here to take the lead late in this race. And you're able to just drive home and park this time ride up and into victory lane here at Nashville Super Speedway. Tyler, who'd you like to thank for such a great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, all the viewers, my family, all the drivers that show up each week. My sponsor, Muscle Poodles, Landesco, Isabel's Impact, the Bar Distillery, all the Haptic Performance Racing guys, Evan, Chris, Grant, for all they do. The team is just only getting bigger. We've started racing elsewhere, so we continue to pick up drivers and just go out there, have fun, try to win, so, or at least have some good results. So yeah, today is actually my 10th win in Outcast, and unfortunately this is also going to be probably my last season for a little while in Outcast, but I've had a lot of fun here. I'd like to thank all the admins, Anthony Garland for everything he does, you for broadcasting. I'm going to miss every Sunday watching watching you call these awesome races.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we'll miss you out there on the racetrack, but we still got at least a few more races left to go here in Season 11 of the Outcast Racing League, and maybe many more trips up here into the broadcast booth for the 9 ride here before the end of the year. But Tyler, great run, great race for you here tonight, brother. Congrats on the win. We look forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack there for playoff race number 2 next Sunday night.
Thank you very much. You have a good one, Aaron.
You as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Tyler Humphrey, as we get running out to pull in our second place finisher. It is the 71 of Jameson Heath. Hey, Jameson, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Jameson, man, great run, great performance for you here this evening, man. Take us back through it. What's going to go through your mind here after 150 laps of battling at Nashville Super Speedway?
Well, it was just a whole lot of curiosity of how Tyler was about 5 steps ahead of me the entire race. I mean, he was so fast. Like, every single time I battled him, he just had much more than I did. So, I mean, great race for him, but I'm happy for a second place result, all 3 stages. Good for the start to the playoffs, and hopefully that'll solidify my ticket to the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. Big picture racing at the end of the day. As much as the wins are nice, to be able to go out there, perform well, get the points that you need, and set yourself up nicely where you can head into our first elimination race next Sunday and not really have to stress too much about falling below that cut line.
Yeah, definitely, and I won't be able to make next week. So this was a race that I had to bank on, and I'm just lucky to be able to execute like I did this race. But man, if that final caution hadn't come out, I was max fuel saving. Thought I'd be able to make it to the end, and while Tyler and Chris had to pit to make it to the end, but unfortunately that caution came out. But luckily, still came over it and resulted with a podium.
Yeah, still ended up as a very, very solid day for you as you park yourself up and onto the podium here in position number 2. Jameson, who'd you like to thank for a great run and great performance out there on the Speedway?
I like to thank all my competitors, specifically CJ, my teammate. He was a very big helping hand this race. He I got into kind of that self-doubt phase of the race where I was like, I can't get this. I can't get to Tyler, but he is there to motivate me, so big thanks to him.
Yeah, teamwork definitely makes the dream work here, and obviously for yourself tonight, a very solid second place run. CJ, your teammate, back there rounding out our top 5 here on the racetrack, so a great run, great effort from yourself and your teammate here this evening, and you guys get paid off with a couple really good, solid finishes here at Nashville Super Speedway. Jameson, congrats on the great run, congrats on the great performance. Sucks to hear that you won't be here in battling next week, but hopefully a big enough points day for you that you're able to keep yourself above that cut line and be able to miss next week and still advance into our round of 12.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, brother. Enjoy the rest of your night. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Jameson Heath, as we get running out to pull in our third place driver, the number 3 machine of Chris Muse. Hey, Chris, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy? All right, so apparently Chris has had to step away for a couple of minutes here. We'll have to wait and see when we can get him back in here. As of right now, he is not back in here yet, so we'll wait just a little bit longer. We'll wait and see when we can get Muse in here, but so far, man, great run, great race, great performance here by each and every single one of these drivers, putting together an incredible race here this evening. And if you guys enjoyed that racing action, if you guys enjoyed the stream here this evening, and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor right now. It's absolutely free to do, helps us out a ton. Hit the thumbs up button for us on the broadcast right now. Hit that like button for us. us, definitely hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, and turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go green flag racing here on Peacemaker Gaming, as we'll be back live again later on this afternoon. We'll be back live. We'll be right back and putting on another good show, another good race for us here, in just a little bit, as we'll be live around 8 o'clock Eastern time for our wheel-to-wheel racing league, where we got 187 laps of racing action at Texas Motor Speedway here in just a little bit, just a couple more hours away, and we'll be ready to play and ready to watch some great racing there with the wheel-to-wheel racing league, which will be another just incredible show, another incredible race with a great group of drivers and great drivers here. As Muse says he's back. All right, Muse is back. All right, let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Chris, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
I do. Sorry.
No worries, brother. No worries at all. Chris, man, great run, great race for yourself here tonight, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind after a very solid third-place performance.
Oh, I'm just happy to be a top 3 car today. Yeah, it was a lot of patience for this track. That's the key here. Not overdriving it, and that way you can maintain the longer run pace instead of trying to drive those 29-second laps. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to make sure that you keep the tires underneath you, trying to just hit good laps and consistent laps out there on the racetrack. And it seemed like you were able to do that pretty much all night long here. I mean, really didn't fall too far back at all throughout this race, maybe back to about 5th or 6th there throughout that first stage, just trying to save fuel, trying to make sure you can get to the end of lap 35 and the end of stage number 1 here. But then ever since then, you've been kind of right up here, inside the top 3, top 5 for the rest of this race. And late in it, obviously putting up a great battle there between you and Heath, trying to duke it out for position number 2. Unfortunately there, late in the race, Heath was able to roll back around you there and steal that second spot away from you. But yeah, hold on here for a very, very good podium run. Lots of good stage points here in our first playoff race of the season.
Yeah, really funny story. I thought it said lap 138, and I was like, oh, we have. Oh no, I thought it said 136. And I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna make it on fuel. I was like, how am I not gonna make it? I'm gonna be really close. And then they're like, there's 4 laps to go. And I like squinted. And I'm like, oh yeah, kind of should have had my glasses on.
Yeah, definitely had to have those glasses on. That was a good thing that you didn't end up, coming down pit road or something, making a call there without talking to the teammates. But luckily enough, you're able to not make that mistake. You keep your foot in the throttle, and you're able to put yourself into a position to still come home with a good, solid third-place run. Chris, who'd you like to thank for a great performance out there on the racetrack here this evening?
My girlfriend. You for putting it on, Anthony, for running the whole thing, Must Love Poodles, Isabel's Impact, the Bar Distillery, and my mom and dad.
Absolutely, Chris. Heck of a run, heck of a drive for you here tonight in this one, man. A great performance, and heading into our first elimination race, putting yourself into a great position to not have to worry too much about that cut line. But obviously, no one's ever safe, as we'll see you back out on the racetrack again next Sunday, trying to have another good run, good performance, and try to work your way into our round of 12 here in these playoffs.
Have a good night.
Absolutely, you as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Chris Muse. Muse comes home in position number 3 in that 3-car, man. Great run, great race, and an amazing performance there for Mr. Muse. Unfortunately, though, that will do it for us here this evening from Music City, man. Huge shout out to all of these amazing drivers and the crew putting this on and getting this rolling here this afternoon, and these guys putting together another great race here at Nashville Super Speedway. Unfortunately, that is going to do it for us here this evening, and if you haven't already, make sure you guys definitely do help us out. Hit the like button on the stream, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming, as we will be back in action here in a couple hours from now with another amazing race here on Peacemaker Gaming and another great show for everybody to enjoy later on here today. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll see y'all back in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Radio check, check, 1, 2, radio check. Over still. Did that, all know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait till after the fourth pit. Get out of the gas, slow down. Somebody split up right in front of me.
Here comes that number 15 of Cameron Combs. Comes your line with his current sponsor. Sponsor will pick up stage win. Mr. Garland is Garland leading the way, showing these drivers how to get it done.